There is a moment, subtle, almost invisible, when you realize you've been waiting. Not for something specific. Not for a person, a message, or a breakthrough. But for permission. Permission to begin. Permission to take yourself seriously. Permission to live as if your life actually belongs to you. And when that realization lands, it doesn't arrive like lightning. It settles like dust. Quiet. Uncomfortable. Unavoidable. Because you start to see how much of your life has been paused. Not by circumstance, but by hesitation. You told yourself you were preparing. That you needed more clarity. More confidence. More certainty. But beneath all of that, there was a quieter truth. You were waiting to feel ready. And readiness rarely comes. Not in the way you expect. Not wrapped in confidence or certainty. Not announced by some internal signal that says, now you're allowed. It comes disguised as resistance. As doubt. As the exact moment you feel least equipped. That's the paradox most people never confront. They spend their lives trying to eliminate uncertainty before they act. But uncertainty is the environment where action is born. There's another layer to this, one people rarely talk about. Because once you stop waiting, once you actually begin, you expect something to change immediately. You expect clarity to arrive faster. You expect confidence to follow. You expect some internal reward for finally moving. But instead you're met with something else. Resistance. Not from the world, but from yourself. Old habits don't disappear just because you've made a decision. Doubt doesn't vanish because you took one step forward. In fact, it often gets louder. It questions your direction. It second-guesses your effort. It tries to pull you back into the comfort of hesitation. And this is where most people stop. Not at the beginning, but just after it. Because starting is exciting. But continuing without immediate results. That's where it becomes real. That's where discipline replaces motivation. You begin to see that progress isn't linear. It doesn't reward you on a schedule. It doesn't reassure you that you're doing it right. It simply responds to consistency. And consistency is quiet. It doesn't feel powerful in the moment. It doesn't look impressive day to day. It feels repetitive. Sometimes pointless. Often invisible. But that's the test. Can you keep going? Without evidence that it's working? Can you show up? Without needing to feel inspired? Can you continue? Even when the excitement of starting has faded? You don't step forward because you're ready. You become ready because you stepped forward. And the longer you wait for that perfect internal alignment, the more your life begins to shrink around that waiting. Opportunities pass. Not dramatically, just quietly enough that you can pretend they weren't meant for you. Time moves. Not violently, just steadily enough that you don't notice what it's taking. And slowly, without realizing it, you build a life defined by hesitation. Not failure. Not lack of potential. Just delay. There's a cost to that. A quiet one. Because every time you hold yourself back, you reinforce the idea that you can't be trusted to move. That you need something external to validate your next step. And over time that belief hardens. You stop seeing yourself as someone who acts, and start seeing yourself as someone who waits. But there's another path. It begins the moment you stop negotiating with your hesitation. The moment you realize that clarity is not a prerequisite for action. It's a result of it. You don't figure things out before you begin. You figure them out by beginning. That's what most people misunderstand. They think clarity leads to movement. But in reality, movement creates clarity. The first step is always blind, awkward, imperfect. And that's exactly why it matters. Because it breaks the illusion that you need to feel different before you act. You don't. You just need to decide that waiting is no longer acceptable. Not because you're suddenly confident, but because you're tired of standing still. There's a shift that happens when you make that decision. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what happens if I never try? And that question is heavier. Because it doesn't just challenge your fear. It confronts your future. It forces you to imagine a life shaped not by failure, but by avoidance. And once you see that clearly, it becomes harder to justify inaction. You start to understand something deeper. Action isn't about guaranteeing outcomes. It's about reclaiming agency. It's about proving to yourself, again and again, that you are capable of moving, even when nothing feels certain. That's where real confidence comes from. Not from success. Not from validation. But from evidence. Evidence that you show up. That you try. That you continue. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it's unclear. Even when no one is watching. Because the truth is, most of your life will be built in those unseen moments. Not in the highlights. Not in the recognition. but in the quiet decisions no one else knows you made. The day you chose to start anyway. The moment you stopped overthinking and moved. The time you acted without needing reassurance. Those are the moments that shape you. Not loudly, but permanently. You begin to trust yourself not because everything works out, but because you've proven that you can handle whatever comes next. And that trust changes everything. You stop fearing mistakes the same way. You stop obsessing over the right path. You stop needing guarantees. Because you realize that your strength was never in avoiding failure. It was in continuing despite it. That's what makes someone dangerous, in the best sense of the word. Not perfection. Not certainty. But momentum. The kind that doesn't depend on mood. The kind that doesn't collapse under doubt. The kind that keeps moving forward quietly, consistently, regardless of how it feels. Most people never reach that point, not because they lack ability, but because they never break the cycle of waiting. They stay in preparation, in analysis, in hesitation, and life moves on without them. But you don't have to. You can decide right now that waiting is over, not because everything is clear, not because you feel ready, but because you understand that readiness is built, not found. So you begin. Messy, uncertain, incomplete. And that's enough. Because the moment you move, you separate yourself from the version of you that stayed stuck. You become someone who acts, someone who builds, someone who doesn't need perfect conditions to start. And from that place, everything changes. Not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily. You build confidence. You create direction, not by thinking more, but by doing. So if you've been waiting for the right time, the right signal, understand this. It's not coming. Not in the way you expect. The moment you've been waiting for is the one where you decide to stop waiting and step forward anyway. If this video gave you something to reflect on, like it, share it, and subscribe for more.